Hey guys, how's it going? Beast here, bringing you a great game on PUBG. Not really a great game, but so as you see there, I was running a couple settings on high and a couple settings on medium, and I do play at 4K. And so this was requested by a friend of mine who has only experienced PUBG on the console. Obviously, he has seen it on the PC, but only experienced the playing on the console. And so that now I've just changed my settings to all ultra. And so my thought was I'd be down in like 30s for frames per second, like 30 FPS, which in my opinion is really just unacceptable. So he has experienced, man, I'm sorry about that thud. This is going to be an interesting thing, getting used to this chair. I just got a new chair and it's got arms on it, which I'm not used to, so I just hit the desk with it. Sorry. Thanks Shock Mount. So it was requested by him because he saw my video that I put up the other day, which was talking about PUBG, and it was just me playing a regular old game. Now look at the quality of this stuff, guys. Look at the unbelievable sharpness of that shadow. I mean, it is just precise. I mean, you can see every finger. You can see him standing there, like, just kind of breathing a little bit. You can see the lines in the pavement. Look at all the textures in the pavement. And I'm looking at the textures on the barrels. Look at the textures on there. So he basically was astonished at how incredible the game looked on the PC, because on the console it runs at 30 FPS instead of 60, and it runs at pretty much the equivalent of low or very low settings. I mean, look at the texture on that tire. Ridiculous. So he had asked me, and I had wanted to record at 4K, and I tried to do it the other day, and I didn't realize until after the video was done that it was not actually 4K. So you'll see me do a little sweep around to the plane here. But I got that sorted out. I manually changed it to 4K instead of relying on it to be an auto thing, which I thought was going to work, and it didn't work. I was actually really disappointed, but I didn't have time to re-record the video, so I just thought I'd just YOLO and upload it. But this is at true 4K at 100 megabytes per second, which is actually not the highest setting I can do. I can go all the way up to 130. But I'm not really sure how this is going to work, so I guess we'll see when I render this how long it takes, because I normally do 75 megabytes per second, which I think is quite overkill, considering the Xbox One X probably only records at like 10 or 20. Not really sure, but 75 I think is a little overkill. So for this one, I'm actually going to have to bump it up to 100, and we're going to see how long it takes to render. This is a fairly long video too. I'm expecting like probably an hour and a half, which is pretty long. That's, you know, 2 or 3 times what it normally is. So this is PUBG at 4K at all ultra settings. Now this wouldn't have been possible like a week ago, but because of the recent update where the game excuse me, man, sorry, the game actually went live a week ago as a full game, version 1.0. They wiped out the leaderboards and stuff, so this is actually the full game now. And so with that update came an incredible boost of frame rate without changing any settings. I was running all medium before on 4K because that's all I could do to keep 60 FPS. But without changing any settings, I was all of a sudden getting 90 frames, which is pretty incredible. But I was getting, oh, see, there's the bump again, man. I'm sorry, guys. This is gonna be really interesting. 90 frames, and I was getting horrific screen tearing, absolutely horrific, where basically the screen vertically separates into like 4, 5, 6 different sections, and they all kind of move at slightly different pace, and it makes you really sick. So talk about incredible loot in here, man. So only thanks to that recent update, which gave me those, I was able to bump up and run the settings that I have been running, which is medium on half and high on the other half, like textures and shadows, and anti-aliasing I have on high, so if the edges are real sharp, or, well, not sharp, so the edges are real, not sharp. Now, I heard this guy over here, and so he sees me coming at him. And look at how terrible of a shot I am. How bad of a shot I am. It's honestly though, it's so hard to And look at, literally I had the least amount of health possible. I mean, it's incredible how low health I have. So, I mean, you know, he was just, he was blown away by how much better the game looks. And, I mean, you know, I play with people, one of the guys I play with on here usually runs a 1440p. And he does, like higher ultra settings. And, you know, he's talked about how good the game looks for him. But, to be honest, at 4K medium, the game still looks really good. And, so when I bumped the settings up to 4K high settings on the textures and stuff, for me that was just like, it looked so much better. But again, to put on these settings at ultra made it even that much more incredible. Now, if you look at my frame counter in the top left, I'm hovering around like 50 frames per second, which honestly is not ideal. And I heard this guy. Again, not the best shooting, but I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, it was a kill, and I don't get kills very often. So my kill death ratio in solo is 0.5. At this point, I've played like 65 games since they wiped the leaderboards. So in the last since December 22nd, so I played 65 games, and I think I have like 37 kills or something like that. So I'm barely getting a kill for every other game. So I'll take 2 in one game like that. I mean, especially this close to the beginning. But I was actually really, first of all, beyond just the graphical side of it, because it does look a lot better, I was absolutely astonished at how high the frames were. Like I said, I mean, if you look, I'm hovering right around 50, which is actually pretty close. I mean, when I was doing so much research on the PC, I've said this before, but when I was doing so much research on the PC, I was watching all these videos, and even through the YouTube app on the old Xbox, like the Xbox One S, even that, which was upscaling to 4K, so even that, which could only support 1080p videos on YouTube and only at 30 FPS, even at 1080 30, I was able to tell a clear difference between 60 frames and 30 frames per second, and it started to become apparent to me, like, okay, now I understand what all these PC guys are talking about when they're saying, like, oh, your stupid console can only run 30 FPS. They're starting to make a lot of sense to me. That was before I had experienced it, really, with any sort of game. And so, I finally decided to build a PC because of this game. I had been wanting to do it for a long time, and this game just sort of pushed me over the top. I was like, look, I got to do it, you know. And so I did, and, I mean, truly, the first game I played was, see, that was an accident. I'm an idiot. So that's an 8-time scope. That's a super rare find. Those are pretty hard to come by. I would say me or anyone in my team comes across one of those maybe once every 3 or 4 games. So they're pretty rare. And always a treat to have. You know, best if you have a sniper to go with it. In this case, I don't. And I do end up using it later, which you'll see. But, yeah, I mean, the first game I bought on the PC was Fallout 4, which is a game I had played on the console. And that was a game that was 30 FPS. And I haven't played it for a long time, but I could definitely tell the game was, like, you know, better. This game, though, initially playing it on the PC, you know, it's fun, but I was really struggling with the movement, so it was really getting to me that I couldn't move the right way and stuff, and I mean, I was able to get nothing. I mean, I don't think I was able to even get a hit on a guy for probably, like, 10 hours. So it was pretty incredible. So then I went to play it on the console, because it came out on the console on, like, December 7th or something, December 7th or 8th. And I played with some people that I played with, a guy that I work with, and a couple of his friends who were, like, Rainbow Six Siege players. So they were all really, like, you know, tactical and stuff. And that was good, because I mean, I know the game, even though I hadn't played it. Well, I mean, I had played it, but even though I hadn't really played it, I knew the game. I knew the strategies and stuff. And I knew the map pretty well. And it actually felt better. Like, immediately, I was like, man, this actually feels a lot more at home. First game I played, I got 2 kills. And I don't think I had 2 kills in the first 8-10 hours I played this game. I think I had 1 kill in, like, my first 10 or 15 games. So, it felt so much better, and I thought, man, you know what, this actually isn't that bad. And yeah, the visuals didn't look quite right. Excuse me, the visuals didn't look as good as they should have, and the game was definitely a lot choppier. There was a lot more like lagginess to it, a lot more just, you know, weirdness to it. Choppiness is really the best way to describe it. But when I went back to play on the PC, I was like, okay, you know, this is better, but I'm still not able to get any kills. And so over the course of like a week or two, I played, you know, some on the console and then some on the PC, and it, you know, it felt fine. It felt natural. Like I said, it actually ended up looking about the same. And Digital Foundry had a great video where they compared them and found that on the Xbox One X, it is running at 4K, and the equivalent of about, wow, that is super loud. Sorry, guys. I forgot to turn this volume down while I'm doing the voiceover, and that is absolutely deafening. So I realized that, so they realized that it was supposed to be 4K medium settings. Now here you see me adjusting the brightness of my red dot. You can actually do that with the scroll wheel once you're scoped in. So that's one of the newer things that came with the update too. So they found that it was 4K medium running on the Xbox One X at 4K. So I realized, like, wow, that's actually the same that I'm running. So then I realized, like, okay, the One X, as powerful as it is, only half as powerful as my PC. Now, true, I am running some pretty high-end hardware, but still, that's not, you know, it doesn't change the fact that it's half as powerful. So, long story short, I ended up playing on the PC for like a week straight and didn't even go back to the console. And now, when I go to the console version, it's really hard to play. It's just like, oh man, like it just does not feel right. Like it's really clunky, very, very chunky. Just, it just chugs along, like just, oh my goodness. It's like, if this version, you know, for me is, you know, like a you know, a higher end sports car. This is like an Audi R8. The console version is like a 1976 Ford Bronco. Like it's not even in the same class. And I'm not, you know, I feel bad saying that because I'm an Xbox guy through and through, and I've played, you know, so much on the Xbox. And even with the One X, as powerful as it is, you know, it just can't even compete. So, and all that to say, when my friend now, because the memory frequency is slightly less on each of these consoles, so you have the One X is running, I think, about 1200 megahertz, 1250 megahertz. The One S is running at like 950, and the One OG, the Xbox One, is running at like 900. And so there was a slight bump in memory frequency. So all things considered, I'm assuming it runs even worse, which is really hard for me to imagine because it does run pretty poorly on the Xbox. The gameplay itself is actually the same, and it feels relatively the same, and it still like has the same sort of feel to it. But it just, like, the frame rates and the way stuff works, it's just very, 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 you know, stuttery and stuff, and it's hard to. And what Digital Foundry found is that not only does it not even hit the 30 FPS that it's supposed to hit, it's usually in the 20s, which is really, I mean, it's really hard to imagine. So for me, you know, this right here at full 4K Ultra might be satisfactory for some people. It might be acceptable, and some people might think this is playable. And I'm one of those people. You know, I got 2 kills, and I'm doing some stuff here, and it doesn't feel that bad. But coming from the 60 that I'm used to, I can't. It's definitely not what I want. So I definitely want to keep it at 60. And the upgrade in all the settings is not really enough for me. And I saw the guy scoped in, and I couldn't find him. So I actually, if you saw it there, I actually equipped the 8x scope. And so you see, I'm actually having to like lead him a lot. And the bullets are dropping, and I'm having to lead him a lot. And so I don't really, like, I was doing terrible. And the worst part is I hit him 3 times right there. And look, now I can't. Now he's done, and I can't get back to him because someone else was shooting at me, and it's just, that's the thing I love about this game. Like, it's so tactical, but so you're being so quiet, and I see the guy, and I'm like, dude, I have the 8 times, and I want to pull this thing out and do it. And then I look, and I realize I only have 12 rounds left, And here I'm in the red zone. I'm just like, dude, I'm not getting out. I'm just going to stay here. I don't want to miss these kills. But then you expose yourself by starting to shoot, and then people know where you are, and then you can't stop. You know, now people are converging on you because they know exactly where you are. And in this case, I was actually getting shot at continually. And so I was just strafing back and forth because I couldn't figure out where the shots were coming from. The sound is not the best in this game. The directional sound is pretty terrible, actually, in my opinion. I suppose it could be the headphones, but it doesn't sound right either on my Xbox. So I have a nice set of headphones that are coming in a couple months. I got them through mass drop, so they take a little while to ship and everything. But I have some of those, so we'll have to see if that changes the sound. If it changes the sound at all. But for now, though, it's really hard for me to hear where guys are coming from. So for me, the trade-off between the ultra settings and the high settings is not enough that I will run ultra. And actually, like I said, at the beginning, I was running a mix of medium and high. And now I actually changed it to all high. And it runs fine. It runs right at 60. I've done some, you know, I've recorded a lot of gameplay, obviously. And not all of it's making it in. Guys, I had probably... Like, I had so many clips. I probably had, I'm going to say 25 clips that were 3 minutes or less of me. And I don't record when I get in the main lobby because I hate that. Like, you search for a game and then it puts you in the, like, the lobby where everybody's, you know, it does a countdown or whatever. I don't record that because that's just dumb. It's just people punching each other, which is fun, but I'm not doing that. So, this is just from the time the plane starts launching to when I would die. All of them were like less than 3 minutes. And it's just absolutely terrible. Just death after 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 death. Just over and over and over again. And so I watched a bunch of those. And it doesn't really drop below 60. At high settings, the only time I notice it drops below 60 is right when I get into the plane, and it drops to like 55, sometimes 50, but it's pretty much always back to 60 by the time I drop. And it just, you know, that's what I want. So the amazing how smooth it is, but again, you know, I just wanted to show how ridiculous the textures are at 4K. And again, this is 100 megabytes per second, so there's still another, I could still go up to 130 as far as recording quality. I really want to see how this goes. If this goes okay and it doesn't take too long to render, then I'll definitely bump it up to 130, as long as that doesn't affect performance, because I do get a pretty fat stutter when I activate the recording, which I'm also doing right when the plane comes in. Like, sometimes I drop to like 30 FPS for you know, a quick second, which is fine because that doesn't affect gameplay. But I don't know. It's such a fun game. I can't stop playing it. I have been getting frustrated. I haven't had any friends on for like 3-4 days, and it's really frustrating because I play solo, but I just suck. You know. I have the other aspects of the game down. I know the strategy. I know the good loot spawns. I have good jumping. I know the right weapons I like. I know the right attachments to look for. And like I said, I know the strategy. I know the way to push it. Just before I did this voiceover, me and my friend got to. He ended up number 2. We both made it to top 10, and then I ended up dying while we were trying to get into the last circle. And he ended up dying right at the end. It was just him and one other guy. And I have several top 10s recently. So I mean, I understand the strategy and how to get there. But the problem for me is my aim is so bad. It's so bad that I can't win. So for me, it's sort of a strategy. I've been trying to drop into the busiest areas and just go for broke every time. But that results in, seriously guys, I'm not joking, I probably had 25 videos of me spawning in, jumping out, and dying within 2 minutes. And it's just super frustrating, and it's actually been getting on my nerves, and it was so bad I was gonna skip recording a video again. Like, I was absolutely just furious, like half an hour ago. But I hopped on and read some of the comments that you guys left me on some of my recent videos, and it made me smile, and I got back, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna record something. So the support you guys have been giving to me just never stops surprising me. Just to remember where I came from earlier this year, and to know where I am now with all this stuff, and to be, you know, making these on the PC and have such good quality content to bring to you guys. You know, when I decided to bring it to you, instead of just, you know, if I just take, you know, I don't even know what I took off. It took like, I think I took 7 out of 9 days off the last 2 weeks or something. And I mean, I couldn't do it. It just got to me, and I just couldn't do it. But I'm glad to be able to bring this to you. And it's just, I mean, it's such a fun game, but it's just been getting super frustrating recently just because I try to do that. And for me, the strategy is, you know, the more that I do that, the better my aim will get. And also, it's training me in those high-stress situations because my movement is okay until I get into, like, a situation where I'm in, like, a gunfight, and I'm, like, you know, it's sort of like a high-tension moment, and then I can't even move. A lot of times I end up just sitting there not moving, and that's not good at all. And so, you know, that's just not the way I want to be doing things. And so I'm just trying to get as much practice as possible. And so the way I see it is, the more I drop into those busy areas, the more I get versed in those high-stress situations where I have to run and drop and get a gun real quick or else I'm going to die. And then I have to, you know, have my aim be on point. And, you know, like you pick up the ammo, you pick up the gun, you got to reload, you have to, you know, find the target, you have to know where the guy is because he might be trying to run around behind you. So all that stuff just adds into it. But, I mean, I'm not joking when I say I've done like 2 straight hours of that the last 2 nights. So just 4 straight hours of basically not making it more than 5 minutes into the game. Really just takes a toll. And both nights I've gotten really upset and ended up, you know, quitting long before I wanted to or should have, just because of that. And so it's just, you know, it's been a struggle a little bit, I'll say that, but still enjoying it. And because basically what happens is, you know, for me, like I said, I can make it to the top 10. I'm pretty sure that I could make it to top 10 a lot more often, because I know the strategy to do it, and I know how to do it, and I know, you know, the way I can. I mean, just look at look at this grass I'm running through. Look at all the trees. And the view distance is incredible on Ultra. Like, as soon as you spawn in on the plane, you can pretty much see the opposite side of the map. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I was running over here because I knew that this guy had a buggy that he ditched over here. But, I mean, look at that grass. You know, but if you look at the left, 45 FPS, that is not going to cut it for me. That's 25% under where I should be. So, the thing is, if I constantly play games where I get to the top 10, and then I only have 1 gunfight in the whole game, and I lose on that gunfight, like, that doesn't help me at all. So, basically what I just did is I wasted 25 minutes looting and driving around, you know, or running around the map, wasted all that time just so that I could still lose in a gunfight. Oh, I didn't even actually realize my tires blown off there. That's not good. Oh, I didn't mean to use that. Yeah, see, I had to cancel that. So it's like, I mean, I didn't, you know, like, I don't want to play. I don't want to spawn in, drop to, like, an obscure area, a small little area, loot it, get looted up, and then spend 25 minutes playing a game, running around the map, staying ahead of the zone, playing the right strategy, getting in a good position, getting a good final position, and then dying in the top 10. Like, that does not interest me, strictly because that's not helping me get my aim. You know, that's just helping me, you know, play the game, play the strategy, which I'm already fairly familiar with. I had watched a lot of the game before I bought it, and I've probably played, yeah, I think I played 50 or 75 hours, about 50 on the PC. Yeah, seriously, I can't believe I'm driving with no wheel on. So, I figure I'm going to be 100 hours before I get to the point where I'm actually decent enough to aim and actually be successful in the games that I play, which, you know, we'll see. We'll see when I get there. So, anyway, thank you guys for watching this, and check it out. I'm going to leave you with that, probably. I don't have anything more to say, which is a first for me in my entire lifetime from the time I was born. So, thanks for watching. Again, thanks for the support recently. You guys are awesome. Make sure you subscribe if you like my content, and I still can't believe I'm driving on an empty rim. I didn't notice that in the game. That's just terrible. And my death in this game is terrible too. But yeah, so thanks for watching. I hope I see you guys back here soon. And yeah, appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button. See ya. Man. Blah, blah, blah. See you guys later.